And the business model is this. So the golf is top of funnel. How do they really make their money? Not something that I experienced, but there's a whole infrastructure. Just the road behind the bars, strip bars.
Hang on.
I've got two ideas for you today. Someone needs to create a website where you can go sport, position, level, and it spits out exactly what the person does. So all of this exists. I love this content, but no one has curated it.
Okay, routines. There we go. Number 2.
You were talking about launching a YouTube channel for Mahara where you could talk about venture investments.
Demystifying VC.
There is an agency that exists that is very specific to B2B, very specific to people like you, that helps them create content and then they slice it into nice videos. YouTube fairly recently layered on, you can promote your content on YouTube, and no one really does it.
That is niche, though.
Is it? What, you're doing their entire YouTube channel? Doing a YouTube channel's niche? I feel like this is a little bit of a welcome back, Rich. We've not done one for how long?
It's got to be 5 weeks, right?
I think you could put a 1 in front of that.
It's not been almost 4 months, is it?
No, probably not. Somewhere in between the two.
Yeah, I mean, it's life circumstances, right? A few broken wrists, some heart surgery. Not for either of us.
That's just the stuff that...
Nearest and dearest.
That's just the stuff that is palatable for this podcast.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, there's all sorts of other shit. Sometimes life runs you over, right?
Yeah, it does.
But we're here, we're standing. I'm dressed like an old golfer. USPGA. Excited about the weekend ahead.
And you were just about...
You're not wearing any golf gear today, actually. Why aren't you wearing any golf gear?
I've got my golf shoes.
Where's your Callaway?
Got my golf shoes on.
Golf shoes on. They spikes, like proper metal ones from the 90s?
I do actually have some old school FootJoys.
So. Yeah. Dry joys, those are the things back in the day.
Who were you going to play golf in Portugal with?
31 other gents. It's the 20th anniversary of something called the Miller Championships. We've been doing it since the guys left university. It's awesome.
Did I ever speak to you about golf in Portugal and the business model behind it?
What, per golf course or like a collective business model?
Just a region golf model. You'll know if I've told you. If I haven't, I'm going to tell you now.
No.
Have you been?
I don't know that, no. Please.
Okay.
I haven't played golf in Portugal.
Okay. Oh, right. So I went about 2 years ago with just one mate. We just went for like 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
And the business model is this. So the golf is top of funnel. You think that it's about golfing holidays, but golf is top of funnel. So you get 31 balding, middle-aged guys in the sun playing some golf. The golfers suck them in. How do they really make their money? And this is unbelievable to me. So that's some of the spend that gets you there. Then they deliver you, as you could imagine, they've turned these lovely little harbours into just hideous spots with bars. So they've taken a beautiful vista and it's just a load of bars, and then they churn a load of cash through the alcohol sales. So that's where they're making way more of their money. But that's not where they're making their money. Where they are making, gotta be 80% of it. The real business under the business. Not something that I experienced, but there's a whole infrastructure. Just the road behind the bars, strip bars. So you've used golf.
Hang on. So you're now saying that the whole golfing leisure industry in Portugal is all about that kind of destinations, a strip bar. It's all about strip bars.
It's getting 40, 50 and 60-year-old
Doug
men.
Haynes from Calium, calium.co.uk, Portugal Tourist Board. It's all about strip joints.
Yeah, because what you're doing is you're taking 50-year-old men. They cannot sell to their partner, I'm going to go to Portugal for you strip bars. That's not palatable. So what they've done, they've layered on some golf. And all the golf does is the golf creates credibility to a holiday, which is a massive booze up. And then even beyond that, and I think where most of the money gets spent, and not as a patron, I don't know this, of course, but as somebody that was just walking around the harbour, you just go one road back and you just wouldn't expect it. And it is just all of these kind of bars. And it is so pervasive that what they do when you're playing golf, they put flyers on your car for the strip bars. And if you look at the clientele, they are British groups of always 40 plus men. And that's, I would imagine, how they make a lot of the revenue from those guys.
Do you think I'm going to get charged entry dressed how I am today? I'd like to think that I'd get like free entry. You know, bring Rich in, you know, you're going to get other fellas to come in. Looking as stylish as they do.
Well, let's be absolutely clear. Nor you or I are candidates for those establishments.
Of course not.
If you were to go in one, if you did accidentally have 6 pints and end up in one, I think they would look at you and
wouldn't happen.
They would think, wouldn't happen, of course. But they would think moneyed individual, and your credit card would end up behind the bar, and it would have a €7,500 imprint on it. And it wouldn't be. It would just be called Vista Entertainment. I've got 2 ideas for you today.
Let's go.
Have you got anything for me, or you're just there to?
I'm a bit hungover. I'm ready to just bring my energy.
I thought we spoke about your drinking.
I actually don't drink. That's why I had 3 pints yesterday, and that's why I'm feeling I'm suffering a bit.
Okay, you've got 2 ideas.
It's good though. It's good meetings. Go for it.
So, right. Idea 1. There's a website called Routines. And what it does, I think I've shown you before, but it takes routines of like really successful people, what they eat, how they sleep, supplements they take, and it just creates a day for them. And it's like, cool, this is what this person does in a day. Quite good. Mm-hmm. What needs to exist is routines for athletes. And what you need to do, someone needs to create a website where you can go sport, position, level, and it spits out exactly what the person does. So, for example, you go, I want to know what LeBron James does pre-match, or I want to know what a Premier League footballer does the day after a game. And it is literally just a site full of that content. The great news is all this content exists. All of that information is publicly available, but it is fucking all over the place. It is all on social media because there's all these videos where like a sports coach has got a video of like the England team training and he's like, oh, this is what they do pre-match. So all of this exists. I love this content, but no one has curated it and turned it put it in one place and created it in like a consistent format. So like if we could do that, and I'm pretty sure AI could do that, you could write a script that just scrapes Instagram, finds all this stuff. Once you have the videos, turn it into like standardized video, standardized copy. And all of a sudden, sort of weird aging strugglers like me have a place to go that's like, right, I want to get a 20-minute 5K. What do people do that do that? How do they train? Build that for me?
Okay. Yeah, I'm just in ChatGPT.
Yeah, exactly. Because you could build some AI that scrapes all that,
Just
right?
see what it says. What is the aftermatch routine of a Premier League footballer? Come on, ChatGPT, what you got for me? Just thinking, just chewing it over. I think what's interesting, just why it scrapes its data sources. It would be really interesting to know that if you're earlier in your career and you're wanting to aspire to get somewhere, what did you do when you were 11? What did you do when you were 12? What did you do when you were 15? What kind of things did you do to get to where you got to? So it's like, yes, you got the Premier League footballer, but Doug, with all due respect, you're not a Premier League footballer. Your recovery may not be appropriate for where you are. But if you're like a kid that's, I don't know, might have got accepted into Brighton Boys or Sussex level or something like that, what did they do back then to make sure that they did it? So it's a bit more aspirational. All right, here we go. Cool down is number 1. Immediately after the match.
That's helpful.
Anyway, it's taking forever. We can move on.
No, but
Yeah,
I think
like
you're
jogging.
right, actually. It could be so rich, and it is all just about routines of athletes, and you could take it in quite a few directions.
Yeah,
But
I like the concept.
because all of this stuff exists on TikTok, on Instagram, people have done it. So you've just got to create a script, an AI script that just scrapes all that stuff, right? Very doable. So that's idea one.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, it sounds to me, do you know how you would probably push that out? You'd push that out as some form of like newsletter or Instagram page or something like that, right? Just where you're like, what's the after routine of a footballer? What's the after routine of someone playing Premier League hockey? You know, how do you prepare for a basketball match? You know, you just do it multi-segment or multi-sport, and you just push it out over like a social media account and just see if you could develop a brand that way. That's what I would do there.
Yeah.
Like you say, rip AI, use stock footage. Be quite interesting. I'd be interested to see what this stuff was.
Completely.
Just scrollable content, isn't it? Okay, routines. There we go. Number 2.
So number 2 is, so you gave me this idea. You were talking about launching a YouTube channel for Mahara, where you could talk about,
Yep.
venture investments.
Demystifying VC.
Okay. So most, service businesses want to do something like that. The reason you're going to be able to do it is because you're going to be able to decide the content, but critically, you understand YouTube a bit, but you've got video editor capability. You've got somebody that can take your stuff and cut it. So I think there is an agency that exists that is very specific to B2B, very specific to people like you, that helps them create content, and then they slice it into nice videos. That's the first step. The second step that I think is really interesting is YouTube. Fairly recently layered on. You can promote your content on YouTube, and no one really does it. So I've been looking at some people that have promoted YouTube content, and we should try this for Bear With Me. We've been doing this for 16 months, and we have 154 subscribers. My mate who's been doing this for 2 days with one video has put £20 worth of ad spend, 262 subscribers with £20 of ad spend. Now, are those subscribers any good? Don't know. But his video, and he won't mind me saying this, is a little bit raw. But if we could say, Rich, what we're going to do, we are going to make your video sick and get your authority fired up, and then we're going to distribute through YouTube ads and get it surfaced to the right people. That's a phenomenal agency model, particularly if we can help you decide and write what the content is. You pay for that, or you are going to pay for that.
Surely it's an extension to a paid marketing company, right? When you do paid ads on Google, you do paid ads on Meta, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's an additional service to that once they understand the ecosystem.
Possibly.
I wouldn't know if I would found an agency solely on that. I'm not sure if there's enough complexity to YouTube, maybe, to warrant that. I don't know. I mean, I honestly, I know very little about paid marketing. Very, very little. I should know way more than what I know, but it's just never been something we dabbled in. But I would, having run an agency before, I would look at that and go, there's not enough of a beachhead there to go and actually build something out of. I think it's more of a service line for an additional company.
I think that the way to go with agencies is that it's niche, and you go.
That is niche, though.
That is niche. What, you're doing their entire YouTube channel? Doing a YouTube channel's niche.
Are you talking about the cutting as well as the promoting?
Correct.
Talking about a YouTube agency. Correct. Okay, I mean, maybe there's a bit more fat on that. Is there no one doing that? There's got to be people dedicated. I mean, there's loads of like videographer type agencies. I mean, I remember meeting one the other. Well, they tend to do more advertising stuff. They're called Perspective Pictures. Very nice guy. They've done some good work. But I don't know whether they do this kind of stuff, because the YouTube stuff is all about, it's quite rapid, quite hygiene content, isn't it? Whereas they do those big kind of like stuff for the British military, that kind of like big thing. But they had tanks in one of their videos anyway.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting because there's a content component. So there's Rich. You're fairly content savvy, right? But most people aren't. So they're going to come and vomit a load of shit ideas, and somebody's got to like sift through that and go, well, this will work for YouTube.
Yeah.
Then they've got to actually They've got to make sure that person can speak properly, get their studio set up, get their camera. Then they've got to like cut the thing so it doesn't look shit. And then the paid ad side is relatively small because in YouTube you can't do much. You can just say region and you can just say region, and actually I think that's it. There's not much you can do basically, but at least someone can have a dashboard, track your stats. They know what looks good, what looks shit, and then kind of grow your subscriber base and then convert it. So I think there's a fair bit there for the right business. But what you would do is you would niche it and you would say founders of businesses in fucking tech or finance or whatever. We're just going to do that, and you'd have like 10 clients.
It's not a bad idea when you think about it. If you get to know the subject matter of the people of the videos you're dealing with, you can begin to understand how the storytelling aspect of it and how you want to cut it, where it should be edited to, how it needs to get its message conveyed. So I think if you weren't agnostic and you were sector specific, I think it would help. The more I chew on it, I mean, you think about what we've got at our disposal. We obviously have us two. We've got our equipment and things. We've got Calvin, who does a great job of cutting everything for us. That is a mini studio team in itself. You know, what you'd essentially say is, okay, now we can go and do this. Calvin can go and do a lot of that work, of the cutting and understanding. Your team can do a lot of the understanding how the stories should be told. And then the person's basically, as you put, vomiting out all the videos.
You would go to their house and set up their studio. That could be your bit.
Me? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
We'll send you around. We'll get you a van.
Yeah, next top Kidderminster, Kings Lynn, Didcot.
You've done a great job. It's your strength.
Yeah, I mean, apart from the camera going, hence why I'm on a webcam. But I think it's interesting, Doug. Yeah.
And that is us back in the saddle. We've done 20 minutes and 31 seconds. Raw. We've gone Portugal. We've come back to elite sports.
Strippers.
Golf. Strippers. I don't think that makes the cut. So now Calvin's going to now have to come and cut it out of the end.
Sorry, you don't get to bring Portugal's whole golfing industry is based around strippers and not expected to go online. I want someone to pick that up. I really do. Your face there, like cut into outside of that street. There's the street, and you're awkwardly standing there, all kind of edited in. That's just what I'd like to see.
With an arrow that just says, "This is where the money is," or the dark side of Portugal golf.
And me on the golf course, you know. Yeah.
I think they've got legs to that.
The sordid underbelly of Portuguese golf. Yeah.
Calvin, this is your discretion. Do not make this decision lightly. That's all I'm going to say. Because if I get cancelled, I am going to hold you personally responsible.
Well, it's nice to be back, Doug. Looking forward to our next segments. We're going to be bringing founders, aren't we? We're going to be bringing ideas. We're going to be bringing deep dives into companies. It's good to be back.
Good to be back. Have a good weekend, Rich. Enjoy the USPGA.
Thank you.